have the kind of team that nobody wants to play. And that means that we have to impose our will to dominate the competition all the time.
It's all about what does it take to break you.
Welcome to the Niggas Having Children Sports Talk TV. Thank y'all for tuning in. And tonight we have a big show tonight. Kentucky versus Georgia. Preview predictions. And we about to get this talk in. Got a Georgia fan, Kentucky fan, my man Shane, my man Matt, and this is about to be a good one. So how y'all been doing this afternoon, fellas?
Doing great, doing good.
Working in the yard.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir. So, Kentucky is a team that I've been talking about all off season. I talked to him about with Matt on a couple shows. Me and Rise Up and Matt on a couple shows. And for Georgia, we all know what it is with Georgia. Georgia back national championships, and they out here. They're going for a three-peat. Looking kind of rough, but like I told Shane, I feel like this group with Georgia, we can't compare them to the old Georgia. We gotta compare. These guys are their own, and they're gonna come into their own. It's about growth this season. So I want to see how this is gonna fare out. Do you got anything to say, Rise Up?
No, man. Nothing much more than I like what I saw from Beck this weekend. Going into hostile territory out there in Auburn, and I know to the average fan, it's not probably what a lot of people wanted to see out of Georgia, but the bottom line is they came away with a win. That young man showed poise and leadership skills. So, yeah, I'm all in for it, man. This is gonna be a great game come Saturday. So, I'm ready to hear from the Georgia and the Kentucky fans. It's all about them.
Yes, sir. So this game gonna be played, I think 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. In Athens. Gonna be a great game. Kentucky versus Georgia. Kentucky versus Georgia. This is a game most people wouldn't even view as a big game coming in this season. But hey, just let you know, I was letting y'all know. Don't sleep on Kentucky. So Matt, I'm gonna ask you. Thus far into the season, how do you feel about your team right now?
I feel like I feel that they're making progress. I don't feel like they're the best version of what they can be. I think the first couple of games, the offensive line had some issues. The staff moved some guys around the offensive line, and the last two games everybody saw the Florida game. I mean, our offensive line dominated. So, that's a big thing. But the thing is, our defense has been there all year. We have when people think of Kentucky, they don't think NFL, but Kentucky's defense has NFL players all over it, all on the defensive line, especially in the defensive backfield. I mean, there's 2 or 3, 4 players that's going to play on Sunday in that backfield one day. So I'm pretty confident with where our defense is at right now. Offensively, we have some growth to do. Obviously, we can run the ball, but everybody that's watched Kentucky the last 10 years know that's always the case. We always run the ball, but the passing game has not been there. The protection has not been where it should be. I think we took a step forward against Florida, but I also don't know how good Florida really is. So that's where I'm at with it.
Understandable. So Shane, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but I'm gonna ask you more about this Georgia game last week, about this Auburn game last week. How do you feel about Georgia coming out of this Auburn game coming into this week?
Well, I'm a little hopeful that I'm hoping that this is a wake-up call, especially defensively. The talent level is there for us to be an elite defense, but I don't think the players are playing up the standard. I mean, I'm not. They're not fitting the gaps the way that we've done before. Auburn had over 200, almost 220 yards rushing against us. You know, and you look at that, and that jumps off the page. We had Kirby Smart, you know, and Georgia defense hadn't given up over 200 yards rushing in over 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So that jumps off the page, and that's a concern for me. Granted, you know, about 90-something yards of those were those two quarterback busts. 64 yards for number 8, and you know the kid they bring in down in the goal line. I think he had an 18 or 20 yard run, you know, and that I think he had another run, maybe 10, 15 yards, you know, and we just didn't fit them very well on those two plays. But I'm hopeful that you know he can get the defense to, you know, challenge their manhood, get them to step up this weekend.
Yeah.
And you know, we're not the 22 team. We're not 21 team. This team, to me, has not set an identity yet. It's not. We haven't played 4 quarters of football yet. Georgia has not completed. We're 5 games in the books, and I haven't seen a complete game out of University of Georgia. What I've seen is a second half team. In the first, and I know the rules. Listen, I'm not happy about the whole, you know, keep the clock running on first down possessions and all that. I think it's destroying it. The first half flies by before you know it. You're in the second half. Right. So we're losing some possessions here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're definitely losing some chances with the ball. But, you know, it's just like Georgia is sleepwalking the first half of these football games. It's like they just ain't mentally, and it's not in sync. That's the negative side of it. I think that I think Beck has showed some real improvement over the last few games. Right now, Beck is number 2 in throwing yards in the SEC. I mean, I want to say 1,400 something yards now, 1,400 yards. You know, and I think, you know, the LSU guy is like 1,700 and something yards. You know what I'm saying? So he's up there. But, you know, you look at these games, and Beck hadn't even, you know, if Beck could put 4 quarters together, I don't know what his yardage might be. So he's got the tools to get the ball and distribute the ball, and he seems to have good presence in the pocket. And I was worried about that, you know. So I'm hopeful, Nick. I'm hopeful.
Okay, Raza, you got any questions right now?
Well, more of a statement than a question. Kind of piggybacking off of what Shane was saying. We're 5 games in. Saturday will be 6 games, and to me, it's mind blowing to hear that Georgia doesn't have an identity. You know, because we all know who Georgia. You know, we know Georgia. We know. For defense, for one, we already know that's like strong suit for them. You know, and so it just kind of put, you know, in my mind, it's like this is a weird year in football, man, because everything is up in the air, man. You know, is this the normal teams who would be the team that you know is leading the way? It's not so much this particular. You know, we're all still trying to find our way. So,
well, if you listen to ESPN, Michigan's already won the national championship. So,
yes, but
crazy.
There's some teams out west that, you know, begging to differ. So
Oregon's playing good ball right now.
Yes, they are.
Washington too.
Yes, they are.
Yep,
Washington too.
So
now.
you know, but that's all I had, man. That's
and I know he's got all the highlights. Man, I've been impressed with what Colorado's done. I know they got smoked by Oregon, but I think Dion's going to have that team rolling in a few years.
In due time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I pulled up Kentucky stats, and it's because I want to go over some of what we're facing this weekend. And you know, Devin Leary is starting quarterback, 1,129 yards. I thought Ray Davis had more yards than 594, but I don't even know where he is, and if he leads the SEC in rushing, or I'm not sure yet. I hadn't looked at who's leading in rushing category.
So McLean gets a lot of run. McLean's more of our third down guy. So he gets a lot of reps. He's been getting a lot of reps too.
Avion Robinson seems to be leaving your receiving core at 308.
Yeah.
You know, I see a well-balanced Kentucky team now. Now, I know what you did to 280 yards to Florida. I don't know if that was just a pitiful, woeful Florida team that day and just couldn't get their shit together. I don't know what you guys are averaging on the ground each game. So
well over 100. Like that's our bread and butter. We run the ball.
Yeah.
That's a Stoop staple. Is you're going to run the ball and then run some more and then play action. That's
yeah, but I don't know. Let's see here. I don't know what it equals. I mean, like I said, 280 yards. You hadn't had a game where you had over 200 yards rushing, had you? Other than that Florida game, right?
Probably not. No.
Okay. So,
I don't know the exact stats. Probably not.
Georgia's averaging about 120 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can tell you right
it's just we've had a lot of injuries. We've had a ton of injuries. I mean, what really hurt us was Brandon Robinson going down in camp because I think that young man was going to be a stud. I think he was going to be a beast. But
so Kentucky's averaging 170 rushing yards per game.
That's pretty good. That's more than I thought.
Ooh. Hey, so Shane, I'm gonna ask you this: how much is Georgia giving up on the ground per game?
Well, before this weekend, it was around the 80-90 mark. I want to say if you had to average it, of course, I don't know where it sits now. We gave up 200 yards to Auburn, so it may be over 100 now. I'd have to see an average. I don't have an average in front of me.
So Matt, I'm gonna ask you this: Kentucky's offense versus Georgia defense. How are you feeling about this coming into this game?
We're going to run the ball. I don't know. Are we going to run for 200 yards? We're going to run for 170 yards. I don't know. But if we run for 130 yards, I feel confident because we have some three legit wide receivers, SEC quality, probably NFL talent wide receivers, and all three of those guys are due for a breakout. Like Dane Key he's got Sunday written all over him. If y'all haven't followed Kentucky, he's about a 6'2", 6'3", 200-pounder that runs about a 4.3, and he's only a sophomore. And him and Barry and Brown and Robinson, the three of those are due for because they've had a lot of drops. That's been the thing. We've had some big plays and then just silly drops and stuff like that that have killed us. Barry and Brown killed us this year. Like if he hadn't dropped a few of those balls against Florida, hell, we may have there's no time how much we would have put up on Florida.
That's facts.
Yeah. So can we beat Georgia? We can, but it's going to take. You've got to establish. We're going to have to establish the run, and our wide receivers are going to have to play up to their talent.
And so this is what I want to talk about. Another thing, we know y'all can run the ball. I don't think just running the ball is going to beat Georgia. So can we expect something extra from Devin Leary? For one, he doesn't need to make mistakes. Don't need to turn the ball over. But it's gonna come times where he's probably gonna have to take a shot or two to probably get in the game or get ahead of the game or whatever. How do you feel about Devin Leary on that behalf?
What I've seen so far, I like Devin Leary. Like I said, we've had it's been the wide receivers. Rather it not running good routes and dropping balls. It's not been Leary at all. He's been good in the pocket. He's a lot more mobile than I thought he would be. I thought he was just going to be a big statue back there, but he can move pretty good for he's a pretty big guy, so he moves pretty decent. So I like I said, I don't worry about Devin Leary. It's our wide receivers that need to play up to their talent.
Yeah. Like I said, Saturday too, I noticed Browns with them drops, and I think that's been a trending thing from him this season. The drop. So yes, Brown, when you get the opportunity, you can't have any drops.
No, you can't.
No drops.
You can't. When you're wide open, when he hits you in stride and 20 yards down the field, wide open, you cannot drop that ball.
No.
The game's going to be won on a line of scrimmage, fellas.
Absolutely.
It's going to be, can Kentucky establish a running game? Kentucky's going to get some yards on the ground. I don't know that like I said, I don't know. It just who's going to push you off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Kentucky's defense, very physical, and Georgia's defense is physical. Listen, this game is like, a couple years ago, Kentucky came in with a real good team. And I think we played them up in Kentucky. And, of course, the pundits said this is the year Kentucky knocks off Georgia. Well, when Kentucky's had a real good team and you feel like this is the day they're going to knock off Georgia, it's been sideways. Georgia,
it has
whooped them. You know what I'm saying? When Georgia thinks they're going to have a cakewalk win against Kentucky, it's been these damn sluggish, low-scoring, physical, beat you down type of games like it was last year, 16-6.
So the difference now in Kentucky in the last 2 years, especially this year, you're seeing it, is our uptick in recruiting. In the last, when Stoops got there, he was recruiting good. Last 5 years, we've been top 20. Hell, 1 year we were like the 8th recruiting class in the country, depending on what source you. So we're seeing that now. Now, 3 years down the line, we're seeing that now that like, it's not that we're just good. It's like we have legit talent and good depth, and it's showing up. And I'm not saying we're going to beat Georgia, but this is a team that could really. It's not if we beat them, I don't think it would be as big as an upset as you would think, because we have legit talent on both sides of the ball.
Well, I agree. Kentucky's got a hell of a team, and I think you got a good team. I don't think your depth matches up with our depth.
No, it does not. I mean, nobody's in the country does.
And I think this Georgia,
not even Alabama.
What this Georgia team has done this year is, I think the difference maker. And if this game gets into a 4-quarter game, I think this is the difference maker in this game. Georgia's got just more proven experience on that.
Absolutely.
Georgia's got more proven playmakers. I think that if the only way Kentucky wins this game is if they have to run the ball like they did against Florida. Okay, I don't think Kentucky can win a game where even if they jump off quick, but if you've got to beat us, you got to beat Georgia like 28-0 and having the lead like that going in the second in the fourth and third quarter. What I'm saying is if Kentucky lets Georgia hang around in the third and fourth quarter, I think Georgia's depth and Georgia's just experience is going to be too much for and we've seen that against Auburn, seen it against South Carolina. Georgia has been a strong second half team. For Kentucky to win this game, they're going to have to be a strong first half team, and have got to have the same carryover in the second half.
Yes,
can't let Georgia own the second half. And
go ahead.
Say this, the other thing is, I just don't know. I mean, I think Beck is coming into his own. He's peaking at the right time, and I think that the rhythm. Unfortunately, the rhythm has been established for Beck and Brock, and see that was missing in the first 4 games. It wasn't consistent, but I think what happened in Auburn, it solidified that rhythm, and I think that's gonna be hard for Kentucky to stop.
Well, I'll tell you this. I agree with everything you said, and it's gonna be an uphill battle for Kentucky to win. But I will say this about Beck. Beck has not seen a secondary this year like Kentucky's.
I disagree with that. Auburn comes in.
They're good, but
highest rated backfield as far as interceptions and the whole 9.
Yeah, but Kentucky has legit. That's our strength of our defense. We'll see. I mean, I think and Stoops' defense, the way he he has that bend but don't break style defense that is just young quarterbacks have a hard time with it. I'm not saying he will, but it's a possibility it could go that way.
Yeah, I would say if this game was the first or the second game of the season, then I would definitely say that Beck is in a whole lot of trouble. Being that he's had basically 4 scrimmage games, and I don't want to say SEC games and scrimmage games because South Carolina's got a good team, not a great team, but they got a good team, and
they do.
And Auburn was a team with 1 loss, even though their offense has been atrocious. Their defense is solid. Auburn
is solid.
So, I think that lucky for us, we've had those cupcake games for Beck to find his groove. But, a lot of Georgia fans were upset with the situation because, we're really getting Brock Bowers involved in the game.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Hey, so this something I want to bring up. Carson Beck, he's been trending all this season for the slow starts.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky does have a good defense. They have a good defense. If Carson Beck comes out to a slow start and Kentucky comes out to play that defense, how do you think that can affect Georgia?
Well, yeah, listen.
Because it's a trend. It's a trend. At this point, it's a trend.
It's affected this all year. I don't think Kentucky's defense is any better than Auburn's defense. And it's the same thing. It's affected us all year. And that's what I said earlier. We haven't played 4 quarters of football yet. It's if we survive Kentucky, if that happens, if we survive Kentucky, someone's going to make us pay. If we survive that game, if that happens and we survive another close second, half comeback, we won't be able to do that all year. We got to play Ole Miss. We got to play Tennessee. someone's going to get us down the line. So that's not a scenario that I want to happen. But if it happens, it's leadership on the team has been so solid that in the second half it just didn't matter. Now, of course, we haven't been down. We got down, I think, 10 points to Auburn. We got down 14 points to South Carolina. And it ain't like we were down 28-0. That's a big deal. If Kentucky was able to come out and just run strap through us like a hot knife through butter and had 28 points on the ground at halftime, and their defense was just, we couldn't get nothing going, that's a totally different ball game. But if you're talking about a ball game where Kentucky has 14 points on the board and their defense has held Georgia in the first half, that's not insurmountable.
No.
That's actually the type of football Georgia's played in both SEC games this year. You know what I'm saying? So there's, we're surviving the slow starts, but it's not. Trust me, I know Coach Smart's not happy about it, and as a Georgia fan, I'm definitely not happy about it.
Yeah,
I want to see 4 quarters. And listen, it don't have to. 4 quarters to me don't have to be beating Kentucky like a drum.
No, fact.
I want to see from 4 quarters.
It's all about how you look.
Yeah, I want to see from 4 quarters is I want to see us have consistency in establishing drives in the first half. We do it in the second half. Look at Georgia's second half stats. They're off the charts. You know what I'm saying? We do it in the second half. We're just not doing it in the first half. The only we did it against, nobody, UAB and a few, but I'm talking about, SEC schedule, the 2 teams that, the body of work we play, we haven't done it in the first half. So I want to see us come out and get dividends off of drives where it's 3 points, 7 points, something. You know what I'm saying? In the first half. Put some points on the board in the first half.
Because, like I just asked you that question, because I'm looking at it, just throwing up situations that possibly could happen that may not happen. Okay, Beck come out to the slow start. Kentucky defense is able to capitalize off of it. Probably maybe make some mistakes, and they get a good field range, and they able to score. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that being the beginning of it. Like, not saying it's gonna be sustainable the whole game, but I'm just throwing out scenarios that can happen. How many times has Carson Beck been down this season?
2 times.
2 times.
Auburn was beating us. I want to say 10-0 going in halftime, wasn't it? Or was it 10? Was it? Or was it
10-0?
Yeah. At halftime, and then we were bad. We were down 14-3 at South Carolina at halftime.
Right.
So I've seen Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing, and I don't know. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not coming down on Bobo. I'm not blaming this on him, but I felt like in the earlier games this season that he was just too conservative with the play calling in the first half, and he didn't loosen the reins up until it got to the point where it was dire straits. He had to loosen the reins up, and I think Beck. I think he was worried about Beck's composure and whether Beck could, stand there and deliver. But Beck has done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, go back and watch the second half of the Auburn game. I mean, he was on. I mean, he had 313 yards in that game. The majority of those yards were in the second half. We were a miserable flop in the first half of that game. Couldn't sustain drives. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't do nothing. So I don't know if this trend is going to end with this second half football. I don't know. Identity. I don't want that to be our identity. That's why I said we have no identity right now, because that's. I mean, but if will that be an identity? That's not going to win you a championship. I know that. That's not going to get you to Atlanta. I don't think it will.
Okay.
Listen.
So I have a question
Yeah.
for y'all. Does the winner of this game win the East?
Oh, it's too early.
Because I don't think Tennessee's that good.
Well, here's the definitely the winner of this game has the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, not all, because Missouri is still undefeated, and they got to play LSU this weekend.
Yeah, that Missouri.
I think that comes to an end this week.
Yeah.
Let Missouri knock off LSU this weekend.
Woo.
And I'm telling you,
it's
going to be really interesting in the East this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Missouri knock off LSU. I don't even know what to say, but I just
Hey.
LSU ain't got no defense, man.
that is true. I mean, you look at the Ole Miss game this past Saturday, and it was evident.
It was putrid.
That was Kelly's problem at Notre Dame. His teams never could play defense at Notre Dame.
Right.
Yep.
It was putrid.
Right.
For them to let them win. I thought they was out there playing 3-point. You know what I'm saying? Like, horse or something. The way golly. This is insanity. This is Big 12 football. This ain't SEC football.
Exactly. That's what it looked like. It looked just like Big 12, Pac-12 type football.
I mean,
yeah. I got a feeling Kelly's time in LSU is going to be short.
I don't know.
They really ain't got patience down there, man.
No, they don't.
They spent a whole lot of money getting rid of old Ed, and and so they're tied up, and they paid a whole lot of money for Kelly. So I don't know that they'll be making it may take a couple of years for him to have some bad seasons to get better. But like I said, the East is wide open, man. And look, what? Listen, if Kentucky loses or Georgia loses, it doesn't put either one of those teams out of the race. It just makes it harder.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Kentucky still got to play Alabama, so
y'all got to play Alabama. And it won't. An SEC West won't hurt you in a tiebreaker situation, but it still counts against your record. You know what I'm saying? So, is that games in Kentucky? Isn't it in Lexington? Alabama's coming up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. We got Tennessee and Lexington too.
That's interesting.
We got to go to. I tell you, the game that scares me is going to South Carolina. That
is a sneaky game.
It's a sneaky game.
You don't know what you get out of South Carolina. One week they look like crap, and next week Spencer Rattler look like a Heisman.
And that's a tough place to play. It really is. That crowd, when that crowd gets into it, that's a tough place to play.
If Kirby can get the players to play 4 quarters this weekend, the talent level, it should if they play to the standard they played that he's held in training, in practice, and the culture he's built, if they play to that, then Kentucky shouldn't win this game.
I agree. I agree.
Kentucky, Matt, but it shouldn't. You talk about.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
So this is a question I want to ask Matt. Like I brought up the situation about Georgia with the slow starts. How do you like your defense against Georgia's offense?
I like it. I think we match up really well. We're tough to run against, and our backfield, our defensive backfield, has two legitimate NFL caliber safeties, and we have speed on the boundaries, all over the boundaries.
Mhm.
So, and our pass rush has been there this year. So, but I'm not just saying just Georgia. I think Kentucky has a legit top 20 defense in the country. So I would say that if we were playing any team, I like the way because our defense is. Now I'm not saying we could go out and we could give up 40 to Georgia because, like he said, if Georgia puts 4 quarters together with the talent they have, there's probably not a team in the country that can hold them down. Like Michigan or whatever, whoever is probably not beating them if they put 4 quarters together.
When you get out of the SEC conference and you go in the trenches, Michigan just don't have the size.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm not worried about playing a team like Oregon or Michigan outside of the conference because they just don't have it's just not as physical as it is in the SEC. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, our physical guys are athletic too, and that's our big guys are athletic too, and that's the crazy thing. It's
going to be a hard hitting game. It's going to be a pad popping physical, you know, slap your mama type of game. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go. It always is. You listen to Kirby Smart's press conference earlier this week. He said it's been a hard game. It's been and you go back to last year. It was a sluggish, just, you know, knock 'em, rock 'em socks game last year. You know what I'm saying? And we had better talent across the field, but it's just, man, y'all played out, out your pass, man. And, and you made it difficult.
You know, even Nick Saban said it a few years ago. He said about playing a Mark Stoops team. He said they may not have the talent, but it's when you play Kentucky. When they play Kentucky, you got to bring your lunch because it's going to be physical.
Yeah, it's a well coached team. Kentucky, y'all got a good fan base, and I would be a whole lot more nervous about this game if it was up in Lexington. But I think the crowd should be a factor in the game. I think Georgia's manhood has been challenged, not just by Kirby, but by the media. A lot of pundits in the media, Georgia's soft, Georgia's defense is a shell of what it was. Those kids see that. They see that just like we see it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody's got an iPhone. Everybody's on social media. Right. I know the coach is going to try to tell them, look, stay out of that, but in reality, them kids see that shit too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think our manhood, not saying that Kentucky has called us out, but I think our manhood has been challenged. The identity that we have has been challenged. So I want to see us come out and be that team that, I'm not going to say we're going to be as talented as last year. I mean, it's hard to go 15-0 in college football. It's hard to be that complete. Georgia was like in the top 5 in defense and offense. It's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That ain't something you just replicate the next year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I do think that this weekend is going to tell it. This weekend is going to separate the contenders from the pretenders. And Georgia may be a pretender. We may not have it this year. This may not be a team that can get to a natty or to the SEC championship game. If y'all come in there and y'all whoop our ass, then we don't deserve to be there. But I think Georgia has got to man up and see what they are. You know what I'm saying? That because the talent is there. Mm-hmm. Can they execute? And execution has been the problem. We haven't executed. The talent is there. Now the only player, well, I won't say the only player, but the player that has stepped up and playing like the best player in all of college football is Brock Bowers.
Oh, absolutely, dude! I can't believe he came back. Why didn't he go pro? Jesus Christ! Junior. For the rest of us,
he's a junior.
He's junior, so he can go after this year.
Yeah, can he? Good God! I wish that guy would leave.
So, Shane, got a question for you.
Yes.
Speaking of Brock Bowers, right outside of Brock Bowers, because we know who he is and we know what he can do, and there's no question about that. What are you looking for But outside of Brock Bowers in the 4 quarters of football, what would you like to see improvement on from your team offensively?
Oh, I want to see better offensive line play. I want to see better offensive line play. I want them to move blocks off. Number 30, Juwan Edwards is a hell of a runner.
Right.
He ain't got the carries that Ray has. He ain't got because Georgia, has been not been run heavy like this year, like we were in previous times. But he's the type of runner that can he can just hit holes that don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you see that every I want to see the offensive line, move Kentucky off the ball. That's the first thing I want to see. And then secondly, I like to see, one cat that I think, Dylan Bell's, he's a slash receiver running back. They've been using him in the running game more. The receiver I think's got some really good hands, and the kid from Missouri has got some, but he's having separation issues. The receiver that we got from Mississippi State, Ra Thomas, man, he can get separation.
Right.
He can get separate. I want to see him utilized more in the downfield passing game. You know what I'm saying? Because he's been getting separation. He's made some good catches.
Right.
So it all starts with running the ball for Georgia. Georgia is a run team, play action pass offense. Pro style. Georgia want to bully you with the running game, and they're gonna go over the top of you with the passing game. That's how Georgia. If Georgia can get some space by running the ball, so Kentucky can't sit there and crowd the box. And because I'm gonna tell you, if Georgia can run the ball effectively, you crowd that box, Brock Bowers is gonna cut your guts out.
Oh yeah.
Lab McConkey's back. Lab McConkey's back. He's a hell of a position receiver. He's gonna cut your guts out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna cry if Georgia can get some separation running the ball. If we can get some offensive line improvement, Kentucky's not going to be able to.
I'll say this weekend. I know Florida's not Kentucky, but I'm just putting this in here. We beat Kentucky. We beat Florida this weekend, and they didn't run the ball at all against us with three down linemen and 2 linebackers in the game.
Yeah, they've got a lot of offensive line issues though. Florida, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of issues down there.
And see, me personally, this is a matchup I'm interested in. The Georgia offensive line versus Kentucky defensive line. That's one that kind of interests me a little bit.
That's good. That's a good one, man. But they haven't executed. They haven't played, and that's what I'm saying across the board. Other than we just got Lab McConkey back, right? And they got a little bit in the Auburn game. He should be a full go for this game. And other than Brock Bowers and a few Rosemary Saint and all them guys. When they've been called on, they've made catches. But the offensive line has not produced. And the talent they got on there, 5-star across the board, should be producing. Now Arius Mims went out, and he was a left guard. No, I'm sorry, was left tackle. He, so they had to pull a guy that no one trusts that plays guard and put him in that spot. So that hurt us with Arius Mims going out. You know what I'm saying in the UAB game.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to Tate Ratledge, and he feels like they got their rhythm back a little bit in the Auburn game. They're starting to cohesive gel. You know what I'm saying? So if they, like I said, if they play to their talent level, then we should knock Kentucky off the ball. I'm not going to say, listen, I'm not going to tell you that we're going to have 50 and 60-yard gashes. What I'm talking about is down in distance. Can you get 3 or 4 yards of carry? Can you get 5?
Give yourself short third downs.
Exactly, to get yourself. Georgia is probably best in the country at third down on both sides of the ball. Third downs, we probably lead the nation on both sides of the ball. We're the best at getting somebody off the field at third down, and we've been the best at getting the ball moving. You know what I'm saying? Getting forward progress at third down. So for Kentucky to have any chance in this game, they got to limit the third down production for Georgia on both sides of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so Georgia it's a quandrum with Georgia because a lot of times you can just lock down some good receivers. You know what I'm saying? If a team has some good receivers, you can just get into certain press coverage and you can just lock them down. The problem is when you have a hybrid tight end like Brock Bowers, you can't. I mean, he's roaming the middle of the field like a damn great white shark. If you can't lock him down, because if you lock him down, then you're taking somebody in coverage, and they're gonna go right over the top. And like I said, when you have Lab McConkey and Brock Bowers on the field at the same time, Lab McConkey is probably one of the best position receivers in the nation, because he's gonna go to a spot and he's gonna sit on it. He can get separation and he can get to a spot and he's gonna sit on it. And so what I saw from Beck last weekend was Beck was finding his spots. He was reading his progressions, and he was feeling comfortable. And if you watch Beck throw, there was no hesitation when he threw the ball. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to worry about where the ball was. My man going to be at the ball. Now throwing to Brock is a little different. Brock is just a monster that can make catches that unreal, right? But with Lab McConkey being a position receiver, he gonna go to a spot, kind of like Burton for Alabama right now. Burton can kind of be here, and you know where he's gonna be at. And if you get him in this little box, he's gonna catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? As long as he's not contested, right?
And one thing that I thought Auburn, when I watching the game, towards the end, they kept dropping back into zone, and I don't know why they were doing that.
Go after Beck.
Yes. Yeah, like I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to kill clock. They didn't want to. They thought that they could zone and bend but don't break. But then as soon as they started, because they were manning y'all up at the beginning of the game, and it was working for them. But then they dropped back into that zone, and it was not working. So.
Yeah. I think you got a guy that said somebody tell Kentucky to get 3 on Brock Bowers out of time. You don't want to do that, because you're going to leave Lab McConkey open. No.
But you know what? Brock Bowers so good that sometimes I'll be like,
no matter what you put on.
I think I'll take my chances with that.
I think the only way to do it is you have to put somebody. You have to put your most athletic linebacker on him, and you have to put a safety over top. You have to, like that. I mean, you have to take that chance, because if you don't do that, he's going to just destroy you. But like you said, if you put 3 on him, you're done. You're toast. With the wide receiver talent that Georgia has. So I think that's what Kentucky does, because we got some pretty athletic linebackers. I think they're going to put our most athletic linebacker on him and tell him to stick to his hip. And
linebacker hard. It's hard for a linebacker to cover a tight end like that. It's just you know what I'm saying. It's just
that's why I say you got to put a safety over top of him. I mean, and I understand that that's going to leave guys one-on-one on the outside, but that's the only way you're going to beat them. That's the only way you're going to stop Brock Bowers. If that's your goal, is to stop him, you have to, put a linebacker on him to stop him from the first 10 yards, and then put a safety over top to keep him from, that's.
But you're still giving up. You do that, you're still giving up 10, 15 yards. I mean, you just can't allow them to. Kentucky's not going to be able to allow Georgia to get 10 and 12-yard chunks go down the field. I
Agreed. He's a unicorn. I mean, it's
like you game plan to try not to let him do that stuff, but Brock Bowers is kind of one of them guys that you can do it or you can try all you want to, but can you stop me from doing it is the question.
It's like Travis Kelce, that guy.
Yeah,
like he'll have 3 guys on him, and then he's wide open. I'm like, how do you wide? What? How are you wide open? Like,
I don't know. He's magic leprechaun or something. I don't know. And it looked like he don't even be running fast. Man. I mean, he's just like he's jog. I'm like, how does guy listen to Shane? To Shane's what he was speaking on earlier. Man, it was a lot of times that Brock was running wide open, and they just didn't get the ball to him in that Auburn game. I mean, I saw him on the field just wide. I'm like, this bro, pass the ball to him. He's wide open. I don't know if he got an invisible cloak. I don't know what's going on.
And a lot of fans, myself included, were like, "What in the world? Where is Beck's head at?" You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't want to go down there and get in a dogfight with Auburn, but if any positives came out of the game, I think Beck, it clicked. The little light finally clicked in Beck's head and said, "Wait a minute, hell, I got a stud out there. I need to be, throwing to him." You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yeah, that's going to be, I think that's going to be a part of the story. And if y'all let Brock Bowers take over, it's going to be the story. You know what I'm saying? But but I think that
Kentucky can say the same about Ray. If Ray Davis takes the game over, it's y'all going to have a hard. Ray Davis might be the best running back in the SEC. So, I mean, if you let him take over
football, probably.
Yeah. So hey, man, I didn't. When we got him, I didn't know what kind of player we were getting. But man, he is good.
I seen him at Vanderbilt, and when he was at Vanderbilt, I was wondering, I'm like, why is he at Vanderbilt? Why is he there?
Yeah, he had some good games at Vanderbilt. Y'all stole that one.
Same thing with AJ Swanson, the wide receiver. I'm like, why is he there?
Yeah. What Vanderbilt, that coach, I mean, they're not going to win a lot of games this year, but he's a good coach, and that team plays hard. That team plays real hard.
Mm-hmm. They do.
So I'm going to ask y'all this. Matt, I'm going to start with you. What is that one thing that can pull y'all away or keep it very tight for y'all? What do you think that one thing will be for Kentucky?
For that to happen, establish the run, wide receivers have to show up, and the defense just has to keep playing the way it is. Like, I don't think – so, in my opinion, I'm not so worried about Georgia scoring too many points on us because I think our defense is that good. My problem is us scoring points against Georgia. Like, can the offense score enough to beat Georgia? Because it's not a – I mean, I could see us holding y'all to, 21 to 28 points, maybe, we'll say. I don't know. Just throwing a number out there. But I don't know if our offense can score that much. That's the problem. And a big thing is we haven't even talked about, like, for Kentucky to win this game, we're going to have to get a couple of turnovers. Going to have to. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to force some turnovers. And
that's possible from what we seen last week. It's possible.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, but yeah, the offense just has to play up to its ability. I think if our receivers show up, don't drop balls, make the catches they're supposed to make, and establish the run, we got a chance. Because I think our defense will show up. I really do.
So Shane, I'm gonna ask you the same question. What is that one thing that pulls y'all away?
Fundamentally, offensively, Georgia and Kentucky are very similar.
Yes.
They both want to do the same thing. They want to run the ball and play action pass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Georgia and Kentucky is not going to hit you with a spread game. You know what I'm saying? No. We're not going to be all, not a team that's going to throw the ball 80 times a game. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be Georgia and both Kentucky want to be balanced in their attack. And I think that's what Georgia wants to be. They want to be balanced in their attack. And to do that, offensive line is going to have to do their job up front. They've been inconsistent all year. We haven't got the push we need. Being the talent level, it is what it is. And so if Georgia can – my keys to the game, if Georgia can run the ball for 150 yards and Beck can throw for between 275 and 315, Georgia's going to win the game.
Well, y'all beat just about any team in the country if y'all do that.
Well, listen, South Carolina putting up 400 yards, still losing games. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's got to be balanced, sir, on that. Offensively, that's what Georgia needs to do to win this game. I mean, and to do that, Georgia's going to have to be able to score points in the first half.
Yeah, we got to keep y'all around. We have to keep y'all around 100 yards rushing. That's for sure. If we can keep y'all around 100 yards rushing, and I'll take giving up because our style of defense is the bend. We play a bend but don't break style. We're going to give up some yards in the passing game. Mm-hmm. So if we give up 250 yards but only hold y'all to 100 yards rushing, I like our chances.
Yeah. Well, turnovers are
it is
a factor. You don't know what you can't predict them. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You don't know what role they're going to play. You know what I'm saying? Are they going to hurt you or benefit you?
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody in the comments, man, y'all hit the like button, but I want everybody to drop their score predictions for this game, Kentucky versus Georgia. Everybody drop their score predictions. And Shane, I'm gonna start with you on this one, real quick. Just give me a quick run through on how you predict this game going.
Okay. Well, I think it's going to be a game of momentum.
I got to step out 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a game of momentum. I think Georgia's going to have a turnover or something in the home crowd. I think Georgia's going to feed off to her. So I think Georgia's going to get some early points on the board. And I think it's going to be one of those games that it ain't going to be no blowout. But I think Georgia's going to win this 28-14. And I think Kentucky's going to find a way to stay around. You know what I'm saying? And prevent it from getting that ugly. But I think 28-14.
28-14.
28-14. Georgia.
I apologize. My computer almost died on me.
That's all right. So,
Yeah.
Matt, same thing with you. Predict me real quick. How do you think this game is going?
So I know I'm a Kentucky fan, and I love where our program's going. I predict a close game. I predict maybe Kentucky even be up at halftime. But I think in the end, talent will prevail, and I don't think Kentucky will win the game. I don't. I would love to see it, but I'm a realist when it comes to it. I see about around a 20 to 27 kind of game, something like that. That's just where I see it. I really worry about our offense being able to score on Georgia. Is our problem. It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take a couple of turnovers, like key turnovers too. Like not all turnovers are the same. A random interception in the first half, that you don't capitalize on really doesn't matter. It's going to take some key turnovers to beat them. So
and what I mean by that, right? Like what I agree on you that, because turnovers is going to be on their side of the field when y'all get them.
Yes.
Those type of turnovers could.
Auburn, look at what happened in the Auburn game. If Auburn capitalized, Georgia don't turn over the ball 2 times on the plus side of the Auburn field that led to 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, I don't think Auburn would have been able to drive the ball on their own from their side of the field and score against us.
No, I don't think so. Especially with them not being able to pass the ball.
Probably looking at a game that would probably have been about 21-0 had the damn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Agreed. With the turnovers. So turnovers make or break you. Mm-hmm. That's the X factor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, so that could happen, and Kentucky could catch some breaks. And if that's the case, and you just throw your hands up because you don't know, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going to happen, or So, but I think it's going to be physical. And
yes.
I think one of the big keys is both of us coming out this damn game unscathed. Well, we don't have someone – we can't afford it. We started the season with 9 starters out.
And it's a big problem with games like this that are so physical. Is it going to hurt you the next week?
Yeah.
Because I don't know who Georgia plays the next week, but we got to play Tennessee.
Vanderbilt.
So you are better than us. So pretty sure we play Tennessee. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty. Let me look real quick, but I think we play Tennessee right after this game. I think so.
And then we don't get a bye until the week before Florida. We'll know.
No, we play Missouri. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's going to be a tough one, man. That may be a tough one. We could be sitting with a 3-way tie. Y'all beat us, and then Missouri beat y'all. And we beat Missouri. We could be sitting with 3-way tie.
Yeah, we could. We definitely could.
We'll know by our kickoff what the Alabama Texas A&M score is going to be. You know what I'm saying? So, woo! I mean.
We ain't talking about Bama. We ain't talking about Bama.
That's a whole other show, ain't it?
Hey, we got two future SEC teams playing this week too. Oklahoma, Texas. So,
yeah, I'm ready for that.
Man.
Nick, when you do that show, slide me in there on KB's ass when you do that show. That's my dog right there. Slide me in. He ain't speaking with me because I sent him a picture of Mike Schuler. So he ain't speaking to
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good football.
Ask him about that, man. Ask him why he got mad at me because I sent him a picture of block me on Facebook because I sent him Mike Schuler.
So, what's y'all's opinion? Why can't Texas A&M get it together? Like all that talent they have.
Yeah, they might get together this weekend.
Why can't? I mean, they should be a perennial top 10 team, national championship contender every year with the talent they have.
And see, this is what made me bad about them. They wet the bed against everybody else, but then they come out and play us.
I'm gonna tell you about Texas A&M, man. I think in that Miami loss, Jimbo Fisher had his hands too much on the offense, and I think basically, what's his name said, "Listen, man, you brought me here to run the offense. You gonna let me run the offense or what? You know what I'm saying?" So yeah. I think now you got Bobby Petrino running the offense. I think they're dangerous. I think they're dangerous.
Like honestly, I think they're real dangerous right now. Like, I'm one of the dudes. I talk football first. Like, like I said, I look at this game for us. It's a war, but it's battles within this war. And now it's going to be Bobby Petrino and the wide receivers versus our secondary. Do I think our secondary can match up with those wide receivers? Yes. But now it becomes another thing. Will our defensive line get enough pressure on Max Johnson to make him make irrational decisions and force throws that he doesn't want to make? That's my thing. Because I think our wide receivers can hang, our DBs can hang with them. But if you give any quarterback enough time to let him play in his foot, that'll let the routes develop. It's going to be hard for any secondary to guard any wide receiver. I don't care who you are, what team you are on, or
I think Texas A&M got better when the old boy went out and they got Max.
Max,
it looks a whole lot better.
I think they're a better team. You know what I'm saying?
And Max is an SEC guy. Max didn't come from some other conference. He was already at LSU, so he was an SEC guy. So he just kind of plug and play.
Yeah.
So,
and the other matchup in that game that I'm worried about, our offensive line has gotten better, but I can't not deny Texas A&M defense right now.
Bro. Woo!
They're fighting.
Yes,
they get after the quarterback. They do.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, I got my anxiety pills and everything ready.
Y'all don't. Hey, Nick, say don't be on it with the towel over your face when you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I'm good. Hey, like I said, regardless of what happened this season, I don't care if it ends in the national championship, whatever it is. I understand the season.
Your boy KB had bandages on and everything after the Texas game. You know what I mean?
I can say at the beginning of the season, I don't think either one of us saw these two games being this highly touted. Georgia, Kentucky coming in both undefeated. Lot at stake. Alabama versus Texas A&M. Lot at stake. On the line here, and hey man.
So I had Kentucky undefeated at this point, but I didn't think our defense would be playing as good as it is. I'm very surprised. I mean, I knew we were going to have a good defense, but I didn't know it was going to be. I mean, we'll see. This weekend's going to be a tough challenge for them, but I didn't see our defense being this dominant as it has been. So, but Georgia's a whole nother beast, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm a whole lot better. See, I used to when I was younger, I used to go put the car flags and the magnets on the car and all that. Boy, I mean, if we lost, I'd run out there real quick, take all that damn photo. Boy, I take everything off the car. I didn't even man.
Come on, Shane, man. You gotta get man.
Oh boy. Boy, that was, man, I'm a lot better now. I can't take the damn tag off the car, so I stuck with that one. I mean, I'm just glad I don't live around no Kentucky fans. So, I mean, oh, boy.
It's these games like this, though, that's the reason why I love college football. Like Alabama versus the A&Ms and the Kentucky's versus the Georgia. During these times like this when
Right.
both of us look kind of exposable right now, especially Alabama right now. And this, when your team comes out on top of these wins, that makes you feel even more, and that makes you like college football even more. But man, this weekend gonna be a lot of good football, man.
If we squeak out another second half win, I'm just gonna be like, we just surviving, man. We just surviving. I don't even know what. Still, you know what I'm saying? Don't know who we are. See if we survive this game by squeaking it out. I don't know, man. It's a physical game. I know that. I mean, it's been physical for years. So, man, rise up, man. What are Falcons, man? I don't know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know, man. Listen, I mean, listen, man. Good Lord, that was pathetic.
We went all the way overseas
to London and got whooped like that.
to lay an egg, bro.
They look. They beat our ass back across the sea, didn't they? I mean, that was ugly, man.
Listen, man, I'm not sold on Arthur Smith. I'm not sold on the guy.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I think
I follow a lot of different team pages, and I follow the Chicago Bears, and they had a post in one of the Chicago Bear team pages on Facebook, and they were talking about possibly trading, Justin Fields to Atlanta. You heard anything about that?
No, I haven't.
I don't think he's any better than especially I don't think he's any better than Rattler.
No, you mean Riley? You mean Ritter?
Or Ritter, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why I said Ritter. I don't think he's any better than Ritter. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything from him really. He can run the ball.
All I gotta say is go Bucks. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, go Browns.
Doing the thing.
Listen, I can't say anything about the Bucks bad because they do have a national championship. They're a Super Bowl winner. So
hey, we gotta start the defense too, man. Our defense.
Hey, Nick, the legacy we have as Atlanta Falcons fans. The legacy we have right now is being the worst Super Bowl presence and having the most magnificent comeback in Super Bowl history happen against us.
Exactly.
And the other Buccaneers legacy was trading Brett Favre. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, we listen, man. We are.
Listen, in the NFC South division, we are the only NFC South team. Well, no, Carolina. I would say we don't have a championship, but right. Carolina.
They've been there, yeah.
And I'll also say, y'all got really unlucky with Michael Vick too because he was coming into his own before he got in trouble.
Yeah,
like when he had what was he in prison for like 3 years, and he was really like, I thought he was. That was a good defense, and he was really coming into his own.
I don't even want to talk about that.
I don't want to
that would have been that Super Bowl quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to talk about it
because he was in his prime and he was ready to go.
I don't even want to talk about Mike Vick. That whole thing, man, this is more retarded shit that I don't even want to go there, man.
I remember before Arthur Blank era, right?
Dan Reeves
took a Super Bowl. But I remember it was a time where Sundays, home games, were blacked out here in Atlanta.
That's bad.
You can't see the home team. I'm serious, bro. We can see them if they're playing away, but if they were playing in Atlanta, in the old Fulton County Stadium, or even the Dome, the Georgia Dome.
I miss Rise Up. I miss some old NFC West days, man.
Yeah.
San Francisco twice.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I miss some old days, man.
Yeah.
Y'all don't want to play them twice now, though.
Not right now. No, we don't.
How is that quarterback they got came out of nowhere? That kid is good.
Man, this is what I tell people about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy was not a first, second round, third rounder.
He was a
But
seventh
he was
round
way
pick.
he was way better than the last pick, last round.
Right.
He was way better than that. Because I watched Brock Purdy at Iowa State his whole career. And he wasn't amazing to me, but he was way better than
Mr.
when he got picked at.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's proven his point. So
Well, it also helps to have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and you have the best running back in the NFL right now. So, well, now that Nick Chubb is hurt, the best running back in the NFL.
But y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming on, man.
Yeah.
About to end this thing. Got work in the morning, man. And
I'm
gonna say it. Big Blue Nation, stand up and beat Georgia Bulldogs.
I hope you're right.
Do it.
Oh boy! Wow. Rise up! You get in the car with him on that one.
Hey, listen, man. I don't care who. I wish both of you guys luck. It don't affect Alabama either or. So
yeah. It is not.
So,
but it's gonna make some good content though.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a good game. We're not getting the it's not the ESPN game. It's not the Sun. They're not gonna be the.
You talking about game day?
Game, is it the game day game?
SEC Nation will be there.
SEC Nation.
Will be there. Okay. Game day, I think, going to the
Red River.
Red River.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of good football this weekend. Oh man, a lot of good football this weekend.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, thanks for having me on again, guys.
Yep. Good to have you back, brother.
Yeah. Basketball season's about to start, so y'all about to.
We ain't gonna be talking about no basketball.
Oh, come on now. Hey, come on now.
My Alabama Crimson Tide about to win the national championship in there too.
Y'all were so good last year. How'd y'all do in the tournament?
How did y'all do in the tournament?
Hey, we weren't very good last year, but the old Kentucky basketball is going to be back this year. We got talent like crazy, and we're about to run through the SEC this year in basketball.
Hey man, you sound like us Bama fans of football.
Yeah. Hey, they say Alabama, they say Alabama's the Kentucky of basketball or football, and Kentucky's the basketball of Alabama football. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for having me. I'm gonna have to get off of here.
All right, man.
All right, guys.
Yeah, go
Pete
Cats.
Coming, free Pete coming.
I just want to see. I just hope we have I just want to see a good game. I just don't want it to be a blowout. I want us to be to have a good game and
right.
Be worth watching.
Likewise, man.
Yeah.
Likewise. Good luck to you, man.
All right. Yep. Y'all too. All right. Have a good night.
See you, man.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm about to get off here, y'all. Appreciate y'all for coming in. Rise up. Thank you for coming in last minute.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
James, appreciate you for doing it for me, man. Appreciate you.
No problem, brother. Hey, man, I've been trying to get on Rise Up for a minute, man. So thanks for coming on the show with me, brother.
Hey, man, no problem, man. Like we were supposed to meet up earlier, and something fell through on Nick's end. So, but I've been waiting. To get on with you, myself.
Yeah, so, man. Listen, man. I just I love SEC football, man, and I live in Alabama, so I catch Alabama fans 24/7. You know what I'm saying? But the Auburn fans been real quiet today. Boy, they thought they had one, baby.
You thought. Look, you thought.
Listen, man, you talking about I was like a little kid at Cripple time when Brock Bauer caught that touchdown pass, man. I'm like, ooh, Lord.
Hey, and I was like the kid that opened the present that didn't get what he want.
Hey.
What is this?
Hey,
I didn't ask for socks.
I'm gonna send you a sweatshirt say hater on it. Oh man. Hey, no, you a whole lot nicer than KB, boy. He would Good Lord, that was ugly, man.
Have we put all of them on the hot seat? Everybody on the hot seat.
Every damn body, man. Everybody was sorry and lousy. Man, yeah.
Ray,
Man.
what's up, baby?
I'm gonna have to go tell KB to unblock you, man.
Man, yeah. Man, listen, tell that brother, I don't know what, I don't listen, man. We were messing each other on, sending each other memes on Facebook, man, and I said, well, y'all about to go back to this. I sent that picture of Mike Shooter blocked. I'm like, what? I know I didn't hit a button. I'm like, oh.
Y'all, I gotta get off here. I gotta work in the morning, man.
All right, fellas, man.
All right, fellas, y'all be good.
Man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Ray Wills, William Brian, Mo Better, everybody that came in the chat, Jeff Stapleton, Eric D, everybody I got. That guy can't name everybody, but everybody.
Motivated, dedicated.
Yes, sir. Motivated, dedicated.
Jay Shight was in there.
Yeah, Jay Shight was in there early. Everybody. Van, appreciate you for tuning in, bro.
Everybody in there.
Everybody.
All right, fellas, y'all be good tonight, man.
All right,
roll
brother.
tide.
All right, bet.
Yeah.